Hey, it's the Mad Master here doing another off-the-cuff video. And this time, I am going to be talking about the highly controversial Brett Kavanaugh hearings. So, in my opinion, the accusations from Blasey-Ford are definitely legitimate. However, I will agree that those accusations are also politically motivated. Now, how could I hold the left-wing and the right-wing talking point simultaneously? Isn't that cognitive dissonance? No. I will explain. So, basically, with regards to what happened, I do think it happened, more than likely. And what happened is when Kavanaugh came up for, to be a leader, a justice on the Supreme Court, what had happened was Blasey-Ford saw, this guy is scumbag. He tried to rape me once, blah, blah, blah. He's going to control women's bodies like he tried to control mine, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I'm going to just be straight up and say it was this kind of feminist sort of logic, which in this case isn't unjustified considering how much he may be someone that would overturn Roe versus Wade. So I don't think it's not politically motivated. I think every time there's a justice that is questioned, there's some political motivations in there. So the parts of the left that don't realize this are just, being disingenuous and biased and partisan hacks, in all honesty. Now, with regards to the accusations that have been made, so this is my problem, is that the first accusations, I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening. It sounds like some frat boy kind of shit, even in high school, Yeah, it sounds like something someone would do when they're younger, try to... I had this friend when I was in... I was actually much younger than Kavanaugh was when this supposed incident took place. I had this friend that said to this woman, about this woman that was sleeping over in my house, he's like, "Oh, she's really wasted. We should go touch her tits or something." I'm like, we didn't end up doing this, but it's one of those situations where you're young and you're male and you're into this mindset where, you do a lot of weird shit, sometimes. Like I will admit I have actually pinched girls' butts on dares in middle school and maybe once in high school. Like, go pinch that girl's butt. Ha ha ha. So as far as the difference between that and what happened with Kavanaugh, I think there's quantitative differences, obviously. So now the second accusation, and I think it was, I forgot her name, Deborah Ramirez or something like that. So the second accusation that came out, I was like, it probably happened. Now, I'm not one to talk about how people deal with trauma or, I'm not going to speculate on that. A lot of people do some really fucked up shit to people. Now, I don't know the situation. I don't know some circumstances. I can imagine that this woman, this Kavanaugh guy, pulled out his dick and, they were both drunk or whatever. And again, I'm a little bit, not again, I shouldn't say again, because I think that I'm going to demonstrate the difference in a second between this and the Blasey-Ford thing. In this situation, I'm just like, it just kind of bothered me because it's like, well, a lot of frat, sorority, college kids, they get into these parties and there's all this fucked up shit that happens sometimes. Not extremely fucked up shit, but just kind of just weird. Some guy will pull out his dick. I've been with people that got naked just spontaneously for no reason. They didn't put it in the girl's face, but, there's a lot of shit that you do when you're younger that you don't think about the consequences, even if they're not that serious. Now, the difference between that and as far as what happened with Blasey-Ford is that the whole thing with holding her mouth closed and all that, that's just like, it's not just a matter of this guy's like getting a little frisky, drunk, and trying to have sex with a girl and she doesn't want it, and then he just kind of holds back or whatever. This is more systematic. That's what it sounded like. So in that situation, I'm like, wow, this could have happened to someone else and we haven't heard about it yet. Now, let's go to the third accusation. Now, this is where things just test my credibility and my belief system a little bit. This woman, I think her name is Ventic or something like that. She said Kavanaugh was involved in these like gang rape situations with this frat or something. I'm like, okay, this is starting to sound like Pizzagate or McMartin preschool kind of shit, like this accusation, like that there's this systematic, again, but systematic, like an actual system, not just systematic as in one person doing something. Situation where these guys were trying to get these girls inebriated enough so they can rape them. Now, there's a difference between, to me there's still a difference, and I don't care what people say about this, between two people getting drunk and having sex and a sober guy getting a girl so wasted or, roofied or whatever and having taken advantage of them that way with no consent, even drunken consent, which I think there is a difference. I don't care, if some feminist says that there's a difference between the two. I mean, there's no difference between the two. I think there is. So in this situation, her claims require extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. In that situation, I think there needs to be investigation. It needs to be a longer investigation than just a week. I'll just say that. Now, there's things that bother me about the media coverage of this. Like some articles, I think it was the New York Times, and I did do a video on this, but I quickly deleted it because I thought I was just kind of going a little crazy and on the article, and I don't think it was very rational what I was saying about it. So I scrapped that video. I deleted it. The article was basically saying like, it was almost acting like this is like some uncommon thing. Some of the wording of the article, and this is my problem with a lot of these articles. It acted like college sex is like some big deal, like in this situation, it's a big deal that he bragged about having sex with some woman, and it's like, I know they printed it in the yearbook or whatever, it's kind of weird, but it's like, oh my God, it's like some fucking, like, it's above the head of these. It seems, there's a little bit of neo-Victorianism, as I call it, and I know other people have called it this too, in some of these discussions and conversations. And I don't really think that's the way to go with a lot of this. We need to be totally honest. Like with Blasey-Ford, it's cut and dry. It's, he held her down, supposedly. They turned up the music. He covered her mouth from screaming. That's just cut and dry. I wouldn't, it's like, I don't know who would get turned on by that. Even when a girl's really drunk and flirty and stuff, it's like there's still a difference between that and like actually a woman like wanting to get the fuck away. It's just like, I just find it really disturbing. And that's what I have to say about that situation. Like I said, with the third accuser, I'm just like, ah. So she's saying that these people organized this thing. Well, that's accusing a lot, more than just Kavanaugh about a lot of shit, like a whole frat about, being a rape gang, basically. I mean, I don't know. It smacks of satanic panic to me, like this, these people making these accusations and stuff. Not with Blasey-Ford, because somehow it just seems more plausible, her accusation. It's just very plausible, because just people I've known, and people, how people act at that age and everything. Now, of course, with both sides, there's huge hypocrisy. I mean, Bill Clinton was accused, I don't remember how many people accused him of rape. It was at least a few. And Hillary is still campaigning for Democrats. And it's just like, well, who do you believe? So you have to listen and believe, right? What about Bill Clinton's accusers? Oh, we can't do that because it's not. Oh, they're just right-wing people that were hired by... That's what the left is saying about this woman and these people, that they're hired by the left wing. So who the fuck do you believe? Well, be skeptical of everyone. But no, it doesn't fit with the Me Too narrative. This shit I believe. So, I mean, I believe Blasey-Ford just because her plausibility of her situation and her arguments, or not her arguments, the way she carries herself. So, my problem isn't that it's politically motivated, because I understand why. But it's just this hypocrisy on both sides. And then Kavanaugh went against Clinton, which is pretty ridiculous too. So I think it's a clusterfuck. Me Too at this moment is a clusterfuck of, we just have to, as far as getting over this whole hurdle of our society with sexuality, we need to really have some really open, frank, and uncomfortable discussions about this stuff. But we're not going to do it. There are those neo-Victorian feminists. There are those hypocritical right-wing Christians. There are those people, far-right masculinists or whatever, if you want to call them that are saying all this bullshit. Just on both sides, it's just a clusterfuck. So I hope one day that we get beyond all this shit, but it seems I'm pretty skeptical of it, So anyways, that's all I have to say about that subject. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, troll, whatever. And I'll see you soon.